everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, January 10th, 2021. There was so much Shirtless Nate this week that I went temporarily blind. I'm fine now. Don't worry. I'm fine. I found this great new website called Ask MD Now. Oh, the spokesman is hot. You should check it out. Whew. Whew. I really believe that Adam was wrong to not let Nate be Chelsea's doctor. Because there is nothing that would make me hop up out of my wheelchair faster than that man shirtless in a bath towel. Hallelujah, I'm healed. I'm healed. It's a miracle. Ooh. Boy, this week was a roller coaster. It had some ups, but it had some downs. Chelsea had a stroke, you guys. Whoa. She can't use the entire right side of her body. She's not able to speak or communicate. And worst of all, she's in a wheelchair with no makeup on. What a bummer. Man, we just got done suffering through an entire year with Sharon's cancer, and now Chelsea has a stroke. I was kind of hoping that 2021 might be a little more upbeat. Well, but you know me, I'm an eternal optimist. I'm thinking maybe 2021 will end with Adam and Chelsea having a New Year's Eve wedding. And then just like Sharon, Chelsea can walk into society in a V-cut dress that is so deep it shows her brain. No scars, no lumps, just a big, healthy, sexy brain. There's an ending for ya. There's a prediction for ya. Oh, goodness. Sharon overhears Nate and Elena talking about Chelsea's condition at the coffee house. And thankfully, Ray convinces her to stay out of it. We got the honeymoon to focus on. But Sharon couldn't help gossiping about it to Phyllis and Nick. And there was this moment where Phyllis made a snide comment to Nick about how if Adam hadn't been peeping on Sharon's wedding on New Year's Eve, then maybe he could have been at home to save Chelsea or to help Chelsea. Now, I'm not sure that's entirely fair, but I am sure that that's exactly what Adam is thinking. I am sure that that is Adam's worst fear. That if he had been out getting those red velvet cupcakes like he said he was, then maybe he could have been home. Maybe he could have recognized a symptom, or maybe he could have gotten her to the hospital sooner. Oh, but playing the what-if game is so dangerous because Adam even took it all the way back to the elevator. He's thinking, and he said out loud to Chelsea, that if he hadn't cut the power at ChanceCom, then she wouldn't have climbed to the top of the elevator in her teeny tiny little dangerous high heel shoes instead of just pushing the emergency button. He's blaming himself for what's happening to her now, but I think he's picking all the wrong points of interest. If I were him, I wouldn't waste a moment's energy worrying about the elevator. If there's anything to feel bad about, it's the whole kidnapping and drugging Chelsea thing. That can't be good for the brain either. Chelsea may not be Adam's first choice mate, but she's still Connor's mother, and Adam didn't want to have to break the news to Connor that the surgery did not go well. So Adam instead chose to lie to Connor, to tell him that everything was fine. And by the way, that doesn't bother me. Connor is young enough that the truth would only stress him out. I mean, there's nothing Connor can do. He's 100 miles away. Why tell him and then just leave him there alone in pain and helpless? So I think that Adam's doing everything he can right now. He's even biting the bullet and reaching out to Victor for help. He called Victor to see if the Newman name might be able to help him get some results around the hospital. Seems that the Wilson name isn't quite as effective for throwing the weight around, but Victor has paid for more than one wing at that hospital. So Victor calls up the chief of staff, Chuck, and starts getting some healing done. Starts getting some business done. Because Chelsea wakes up right after that. Wakes up in her no makeup look, still looking annoyingly beautiful. I'm jealous that her no makeup look is that good looking. But I'm not jealous that she is unable to communicate. This is a horrible thing that has happened to her. She can really only do blinks to communicate with Adam. She can hear him, but she can't speak. But Adam takes Chelsea's blinks and the fact that she is conscious as a good sign, and a sign, in fact, that he should bring Chelsea home. Adam gets Victor to have his specialist, to bring in a special specialist, and sign Chelsea out of the hospital. Like a day or two after a stroke? I don't know, that they didn't want me leaving the hospital one day after having a baby. I mean, this I'm imagining that it can't be good to pull a stroke patient out of the hospital this soon. And that was Dr. Nate's opinion too. I did appreciate the brief exchange between Adam and Nate when Adam told Nate that he doesn't really trust him to be Chelsea's doctor, no matter how sexy he looks in a bath towel. But after what happened with Victor and the switching of the meds and Nate helping Victor pretend that he was dead to teach Adam a lesson, Adam thinks, you know what, Nate, you were clearly not on my side then, so why would you be on my side now? But this is about Chelsea. This isn't about Adam or Nate or anybody else. This is about Chelsea, and I do hope that Adam doesn't end up adding to his pile of regret that he already has by taking her out of the hospital too soon. I hope he knows what he's doing. I hope this specialist knows what she's doing. Adam's got Chelsea set up with this new specialist, a very special specialist, and also with a nurse who's caring for her 24/7. Adam has had the den converted into a downstairs bedroom for Chelsea, just like the Abbotts did with Dina, an off-screen care room. And just this week, I was thinking, ugh, this storyline is such a drag of a way to start the new year, and it's just the beginning. Maybe Adam needs a makeover to cheer him up. Like, before the whole stroke thing happened, I thought, oh, can we just give Adam a makeover, a massage, a new wardrobe, maybe freshen up the apartment? His condo has no personality. For as much personality as Adam Newman has, not only does the condo not match it, but it has no personality whatsoever. Except for the fur blanket, which is fabulous. I approve. And also, I do like that small 2-seater dining room table that seems like it has a poured resin tabletop. Oh, I love those two pieces. But aside from that, Adam's condo looks like a doctor's office lobby. Oh, so then when Chelsea's stroke happened and Adam brought her home, I thought to myself, well, okay, I guess Chelsea should feel right at home there in Dr. Adam's office condo. Ooh, here's something fun. Phyllis made a funny comment this week to Sharon about how she stayed away from Sharon's wedding as a gift to her. Because, after all, Phyllis and Sharon have a history with weddings. That was delightful. That made me chuckle. They do have quite a history with weddings. Oh, goodness. I'm trying to now think back on Nick and Sharon's last 2 weddings because Phyllis played a really big part in both of them. I think the second to last wedding was when Phyllis, played by the great Gina Tognoni, burst through the chapel doors in a white dress to break up that wedding. And then Nick and Sharon's last wedding, Sharon broke up herself by announcing to the crowd that Nick had slept with Phyllis just a few days before. Oh, yeah. Oh, Phyllis also asked Nick this week if being at Sharon's wedding made him want to get married again. Was it bringing up any old feelings or any sentimentality for all of the weddings that he's had? And Nick pretty much admitted that it did not. Weddings haven't exactly worked out for Nick in his past. He says to Phyllis that he's happy with the casual, loving thing that they've got going on. No marriage needed. And it seemed maybe to hit her in her pride just a little bit. I got a feeling that she swallowed some of her pride and agreed with him, but maybe didn't entirely feel that way. But hey, on the bright side, no marriage means no marriage to fall apart. I mean, eventually one of them is going to get into trouble. Either it's going to be Nick sticking his nose into Adam and Chelsea's business, wanting to ride into the rescue to comfort Chelsea and to blame Adam for everything. Or it could also be Phyllis sticking her nose into Victoria's business. Phyllis had a follow-up with Kevin this week. So the juicy details of the Newman Enterprises LA scandal are not quite as juicy as I was hoping. Basically, it all boils down to more off-screen action. I guess, according to Kevin, some Newman Enterprises executive in LA stole money from the company, was funneling it to an offshore account, Gloria somehow found out about it, and Gloria was planning on blackmailing this person, but Kevin stopped her, brought everything to light. Then Victoria found out about it, made this unnamed executive put all of the money back, and then Victoria covered up the whole thing so that it wouldn't make her look bad. But that's Kevin's version of the story. I don't know if he's 100% right, but I do know that Kevin offered up this information to Phyllis rather readily. He had no problem blabbing all of the details about this to Phyllis. That makes me suspicious. So now Phyllis she knows all about the whole thing, or so she thinks, and she is relishing the opportunity to have some dirt on Victoria. In the previews for next week, Phyllis has called Kevin to her hotel room, and Kevin is throwing up some resistance to the idea of blackmailing Victoria. But I think Phyllis is probably going to persuade him to go along with whatever her plan is. And I don't think it's going to work out the way Phyllis wants it to. I really don't. Phyllis kind of reminds me of Gloria in the way that she's always in the underdog position. She's the perpetual underdog, and it just wouldn't surprise me to find out that Victoria has an ace up her sleeve. Phyllis was right to warn Nick about Jordan. I was really happy to see that moment of Phyllis cluing Nick in to the fact that Jordan's maybe not the nice girl that she's coming off to everyone in the family as. I hope Nick takes that note, and I hope we see Nick catching on to what's going on with Faith. I want to see Nick step up in Sharon's absence while she's away on her honeymoon. Instead of Mariah, I want it to be Nick. Faith comes home from her night of partying at Jordan's with the water bottle full of stolen vodka, and Mariah was being all loud and obnoxious in Faith's face. And Faith said, "Mariah, why are you being so loud?" And I thought to myself, Faith, she's always this loud. Oh. But before Faith could even get a nap to recover from the last party, Jordan is at it again, planning the next party and inviting Faith to it. Faith came up with a quick excuse to get out of it, but Mariah is all over it. She seems to recognize that there is more going on with Faith. And it's good. I'm glad that someone is noticing. I'm glad someone's noticing that there's more going on with Faith, and I want someone to help and guide Faith. I just think, being bossy and up in everybody else's business is kind of Mariah's thing. It's kind of her only thing right now. I want Mariah to do something else. I had some hopes that she would at least be seen at Jabot a little bit. I mean, come on. As she said this week, she's been working there a few weeks, and we haven't really seen her there, except maybe once. It's barely a job. She said, yeah, I've been working there a few weeks. I'm sure I've accrued some vacation time by now. Really? You think that you're eligible to take any vacation time after 3 weeks of working at a place? Great job. Great perk. Hey, on a separate note, it occurred to me this week, I think maybe Monday or Tuesday, and it didn't occur to me at all last week, that Noah was not at Sharon's wedding. Nor was his absence even mentioned. Why wasn't Noah there? I honestly would have rather had Noah there over Arturo, mostly because Noah was supposed to be there to fall in love with Lola while Celeste was falling in love with Jack, but that didn't happen. It just dawned on me, like, wait a minute, Noah wasn't there. Nobody even mentioned it. And then Nikki mentioned that she and Victor hooked up with Noah while they were in London, but I don't think there was any mention of the wedding. I don't think anybody said anything about Noah and the wedding, so I guess Noah just preferred to be kicking it at Nikki and Victor's London flat on New Year's Eve instead of at his mom's wedding? Okay, so let's talk about Nate some more. I was thinking that for this week's poll question, maybe it should be, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hot is Nate? And then I would make it so that the only answer option would be 10. Oh, just indulge me, okay? I have to find my joy where I can get it, and I had to stop dead in my tracks when I saw him shirtless and wet, standing there in that white bath towel. Damn! My only complaint was that was one too many bath towels. He had one too many bath towels on. Oh. Finally, Elena ponies up. She orders a hotel room for a redo with Nate, and I do mean redo. The first rendezvous since their first rendezvous. And oh my gosh, not only was he sexy, but he was so adorable, because when she was revealing to him that that was her plan, the look on his face was like, really? Is this happening? Are my dreams coming true? And then the way he skipped over to the door to hang the do not disturb tag, he was like a happy kid in a candy store. Or a happy guy in a sex store. You pick your analogy. Either one works. Oh, and then it just got better. Like, this was the best week ever for me, because Lily met with Nate to offer him this amazing opportunity to become the spokesman for Ask MD Now. And then Elena was giving him a shirtless screen test in the hotel room. Like, finally, Y&R is giving the viewers what I wanted. So much shirtless Nate. Oh. It's a good thing, too, because I was thinking this week, Elena is gonna need to start trying with Nate, or someone else is gonna swoop in and get him. I really hope that this is the beginning of a story with some substance for these two, because I really think, sexiness aside, that Nate, as a spokesperson for medical issues, could be a gig and a story with some legs. And also, I'm ready to see Elena owning her decisions. The only thing that's nagging me, though, is that Elena made the decision to sleep with Nate and move on with Nate after she saw Devon and Amanda at the Grand Phoenix chatting it up, smiling, laughing, being friendly, and seeming like they were on a date. From Elena's perspective, she's looking on them and they looked like they were on a date. So I just hope that Elena's not giving Nate false hope. Like, I never wanted Elena to pressure herself into having sex with him, but I did want her to be open to the idea or get out of the way so someone else could do it. But Elena had a long overdue conversation with Devon on Friday at the coffee house, literally while the clock was ticking down on the hotel room that she rented with Nate. She was in the coffee house having a conversation with Devon, and it seemed to go really well. I think that Devon has come to the realization that Elena's not a bad person. She just made a bad decision that hurt him. And there's no reason that they now have to continue on with an air of hostility between them. It doesn't accomplish anything. They can instead be adults. They could even be friends who care about each other. I mean, Elena said that she was moving on with Nate, and Devon lied and said that he was just good friends with Amanda. Well, the part that Devon left out was how he just had a sexy dream about his good friend, Amanda. Oh, yes. Devon had a dream this week that she was undressing in his living room, and he looked over at her and said, "Hillary?" And she said, "Guess again." Amanda works up the nerve to call her birth mom, and I guess it was like pulling teeth to try to get her to meet. It sounds like Naya only agreed to come to Genoa City because she didn't want Amanda coming to Wilmette. So then at the last minute, when Amanda thinks she's actually getting a meeting with Naya, Naya pulled the plug, tells Amanda that she's not ready, and does a no-show. Oh, man. Naya. Please let there be a reasonable reason why she is this hesitant, because I'm ready to like her, and I'm thinking that her decision not to meet with Amanda is not just as cut and dry as she just doesn't want to acknowledge her. I don't think it's a I'm gonna stick my head in the sand situation. I think that Naya has to be hesitant because something happened that makes the birth of her twins a very painful memory for her. Like, perhaps she was the victim of a rape, or maybe she had to give the babies away under duress. And who knows, maybe Naya still fears for her life or for theirs. I think that there's got to be some rationality here. I don't want to think that Naya is just going to be a one-dimensional monster. I think Naya has a reason. Imani, on the other hand, is pure, raw emotion. Imani shows up at Amanda's hotel room door with warnings and threats to stay away from Naya. Imani does seem very put together. She does seem very smart. It's clear to me now that Y&R wanted to give Amanda a rival so that we could get Michelle Morgan to play that vicious side again, and because she did it so well. She's very well known for it. But I also think that Y&R knew that they could not travel the same path as they did before when Lily was the rival. It didn't end well. I think they have plans to soften Lily. I think they didn't want to go there again. So I'm at this point putting to rest my theory that, or any theory, any possibility that Amanda could be Hillary, because I think Y&R knows that there's more story to tell with Amanda as an all new character. Amanda is going to have now 2 family members to love and to rival with, and it sounds like this family is very powerful. Imani thinks that Amanda is seeking out Naya because of that family's power. Like Amanda's working for a rival politician or something. I find that part very intriguing too. I mean, the personal dynamics, the family dynamics, Amanda's journey toward knowing where she came from. But I also really am asking myself, okay, well then who is this family? Who is it that has all of this power? Who is the Victor Newman of their world? Is Naya a politician, or was it her father? Is Amanda going to end up having a very powerful grandfather following Naya and Imani on their heels to Genoa City in 2021? I am so glad that Billy came to his senses and decided not to use Chelsea's health crisis as a foundation to write a new story about Adam. I am ready to bookend the Billy and Adam rivalry for a while. And I am eternally grateful that Billy came to the realization that everyone has been talking to him about, that everyone has been telling him for years now, that his obsession with Adam only causes him destruction. Billy is fresh out of jail. He is fresh off of attempted murder charges. What could be a more glaring wake-up call? I was shocked that he was considering it. I was groaning and moaning that he was even considering it. But he had a change of heart. Big sigh of relief. Now the problem is for me, I think that ChanceCom is going to need a bigger and better purpose than just running a fluff piece on Billy. We need more employees there or something. I think Theo would have tried to shake things up, but he's gone and no one replaced him. So every time I'm at ChanceCom, I'm just seeing Billy, Lily, and Amanda, and the Billy and his 2 angels dynamic is a little meh for me. I think we need to fill out this company ASAP. We need to give it some substance. I hope that they bring Dr. Nate on board, give him something to do, at least an appearance of something going on. I hope also that Tracy eventually shows up to do some work, because the whole company is just quickly becoming a backdrop for Billy and Lily's romance. And I'm glad that Billy and Lily have their romance. I'm glad that they talked about their ability to work together this week, but I just keep feeling like ChanceCom's a dud. Is that just me? Restless Style eventually had the same problem. That was Billy's last journalism company that had a short lifespan. There's just only so many lame stories that the company can fill space with. Somebody needs to bring in Katy Perry to shake things up eventually here. What I'd like to see, and what I predicted for 2021, is for Victoria to do a secret buyout of ChanceCom as a way to break up Billy and Lily. Maybe shake things up a bit. Give Billy and Lily a new challenge, a new force to be reckoned with. And Billy did confront Victoria this week about his squashed New Orleans plans around Christmas. So we know that Billy is onto Victoria's jealousy, and I'm kind of into it. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Victoria put some of her unbridled ruthlessness toward crushing ChanceCom now that she's done crushing the Grand Phoenix. Sally's friendship pitch to Summer won me over a little bit this week. Not gonna lie. One of these days, I might be thinking to myself, I kind of like this chick. Yeah. With some massaging of the situation by Jack, Summer and Sally ended up meeting up to try to clear the air, and Sally is masterful. She really is. She took the blame for like 75% of the problem between them, but she put the other 25% on to Theo. And I gotta say, Sally did a good job of making it all seem like a misunderstanding, making herself seem harmless, even friendly, even cool. But I think she was also trying a little too hard, so Summer wasn't fooled, and surprisingly, neither was Kyle. I expected Kyle to bite it. Hook, line, sinker. Kyle had a separate run-in with Sally where he got to see her persuasion skills in full action, and Kyle came to the same conclusion as Summer. Man, this girl is charming. She is therefore dangerous. She's got Jack totally snowed. And everyone sees it. Like, Jack is hanging out in the bleachers with a big foam finger that says Sally is #1 on it. He's waving the big foam finger, and then he's eating out of the palm of her hand at the same time. How about the scene where Sally was sharing her social media photos of her many exploits in LA? That was fun for the viewers to see, because I do remember those scenes on The Bold and the Beautiful, so that was kind of a little nod to the viewers, like, this is who you're dealing with here. She's snaky, but she's also fun. There could be a food fight. And then Jack, in turn, had his story about the bachelor party that included a brawl fight that landed him in jail for the night, and had his mugshot on the front of the Genoa City Chronicle. Did that happen on the show? I don't specifically remember that happening. So if it did happen, I wish we would have got a flashback. But if it didn't happen, I love whoever came up with the idea to backwrite a little bit of that history for both Jack and Michael. Last week, I asked you a very important poll question. Are Jack and Sally going to hook up? You're never going to believe this. 52% said no. 48% said yes. That is marvelous. I love that vote was so closely split, because that means whatever happens, whatever direction it goes, it's a toss-up. So it's therefore going to be exciting. I still contend this story is about Sally, Summer, Kyle. And it's not about Jack being a romantic interest for Sally. I think it's more that Jack is being used as a way to force Summer and Kyle to interact with Sally. Direct from Jack's mouth, Jack told Summer that he's been giving Sally a chance because he feels like he's been given so many second chances. Jack used to be a bit of a wild man. Oh yes, Summer has heard the stories. And, in fact, it was a point of contention between himself and his father. So it seems like Jack sees Sally as a younger version of himself. This is a sentiment that Jack and Lauren also echoed together. We've heard it more than once, but Lauren said this week, when did we become the role models? So that's my thought and my theory on this red herring. But we shall see. I would not put it past Sally to try to seduce Jack. I would like to think, though, that Jack would be able to see through it by this point in his life. I would like to think that Jack is not so lonely and so vapid that he could be this easily lured by a siren. Well, Summer and Kyle are going to get to the bottom of this for us with a crossover trip to Los Angeles. If we ever get there. Billy hijacked the Abbott jet for a business trip with Lily, and apparently the sheer power of Sally's will caused turbulence on the plane, which is just really timely, because I think it was Southside Granny last week who predicted that Billy and Lily would get into a plane crash, and that Lily would die, and that Billy would return as Billy Miller. That's just way too much of a coincidence. Well, I don't know about Billy and Lily. I don't know if half the plane's gonna crash, but I do know that Kyle and Summer are gonna land safe and sound in Los Angeles, because it sounds like we are going to have a 2-week-long crossover with The Bold and the Beautiful. This is not just gonna be 1 or 2 scenes. This is 2 weeks long. So, I don't know how this is gonna work. Are there going to be scenes of Kyle and Summer in LA on both Y&R and Bold and the Beautiful? Usually it's just one or the other, but are we actually gonna get to see them on Bold? Are we gonna get to see on Y&R, The Bold and the Beautiful sets? I can't believe it. This is so exciting. If that's the case, I think this is an excellent cross promotion. I am so supportive of Y&R and Bold and the Beautiful doing this more often. We need to harness the power of our remaining soaps and try to draw the viewers between them. I don't know how many viewers already watch both soaps, or how many viewers just watch one. So I thought that might be an interesting poll question for this week that I don't think we've ever had anything close to before. The poll question for this week is, how often do you watch The Bold and the Beautiful? Are you a never watcher? Are you a sometimes watcher? Are you a regular watcher? Let me know at yrchat.com. Also, let me know if you think you're gonna watch both shows for this 2-week stretch. I was watching all of the Sally. I was definitely a daily viewer when Sally came onto the show, and I started watching again at the point where she left. I tune in sometimes. I'm gonna put myself in the sometimes category, and I don't know about you, but I am definitely going to try to catch all the episodes of both soaps this next 2 weeks. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but I am super intrigued. Summer has packed up her best Forrester originals, and hopefully she is going to bring us some good dirt back to Genoa City on Miss Sally's Spectra. It needs to happen, yes please. Let's definitely find out more about this character who has been floating around for a month now. She has been a general troublemaker with no general direction. So we need to get this dirt. That would be nice, please, and thank you, Y&R. Happy marriage, fairy dust. Let's hope there is some happy marriage fairy dust for some people in 2021. That was our quote from last week. The answer was Nick. Nick was telling Abby to sprinkle some happy marriage fairy dust on Ray and Sharon to wish them well and to wish them good luck. Daisy, Henry, Diana, Victoria, Cherie, Jamie D, and Jamie. You guys all got it right. Well done. Oh, this just feels right. It just feels right. Who said it? I'm all for less clothes. I'm all for less clothes. Who said it? If you think you know, you can go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, then I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Oh, those poll results. You guys, half and half think Sally's gonna, practically half and half, think Sally and Jack are gonna hook up. And then the other half says, no way. Sherrod says, I voted yes. I've been saying it for weeks. I don't see the Summer, Sally, Kyle triangle because I think Kyle is onto Sally and considers her to be just like Theo, and we all know how he feels about Theo. I think what's going to happen is that Sally is going to drive a wedge between the couple and Jack. Oh, okay, so you think really what's going on here is that it's going to be a line drawn. Kyle and Summer are going to come back from LA and they're going to say, Sally Spectra is a troublemaker. And Jack is going to say, no, 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 give her a chance. And it's going to cause problems in that family relationship, but leading, you think it's going to end up, maybe that peril is going to end up leading to Jack and Sally hooking up. I just am having a hard time seeing Y&R going through with it. I don't know why. But I tell you, in terms of the Sally, Summer, Kyle triangle, I definitely don't see that happening right now. But, I mean, we managed to jimmy our way from Kyle hating Theo and Lola being in the middle of it to Theo and Lola hooking up. So, disliking someone is only a first step toward the hookup. So Kyle may dislike Sally now, but that doesn't mean, I don't think that precludes him hooking up with her pretty soon. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see which way Y&R goes with that. I really do feel some bated breath there, wondering how that is actually going to shake out. But I do think you're absolutely right, Sherrod, that now that I think about it, they're gonna come back to LA with all this info on Sally, and Jack's not gonna hear it. He's gonna see it in the same way that he saw it with Kyle, always bringing info to Jack. I think Jack was very defending of Theo in the beginning, and he didn't want to hear Kyle trying to disparage, or he saw it as childish, and that may very well be what happens now. Jack may see Summer and Kyle's trip as being very childish and very immature. But I think it's going to be fun. Leslie says, I liked the Y&R and Bold and the Beautiful crossover promotion today. That was the first time I've seen it, and I'm not sure if it's been shown before. Yeah, I liked that too. I saw it. It was on Friday's episode, and I believe what I first saw was a news article about the crossover, and I thought to myself, oh, that's going to be, what, an episode, 2 episodes? And then from watching that the crossover promotion video that aired on Friday's episode, I was shocked to see it was going to be 2 weeks long. How cool. Ooh, does that mean we're going to get some sun? We're going to get some sunny LA on Y&R? That sounds good too. Victoria says, I am so glad Summer is going to California and investigating Sally's background. I haven't watched The Bold and the Beautiful in years, and I would like to know more about Sally. Yes, that's the point. Sally came to Y&R with almost a supposition that people would know about her, and we don't know about her. She's been on the show for a month now, maybe more, and we really haven't been given hardly anything. So I'll be happy if these phone calls that Sally's been making to Coco are actually leading up to maybe us seeing Coco. Maybe she'll be on Bold and the Beautiful to give Sally's perspective while Sally's not there. Who knows? Maybe Sally will show up peering around the corner in LA. There's just so much that can be done here for 2 weeks, and this is definitely the freshest and most exciting thing that I'm looking forward to right now. Definitely. Diana says, it's always fun when the soaps cross over. I haven't watched Bold and the Beautiful for close to a year, so it'll be exciting to see Summer in LA as we get some new scenery. This is such a treat, I think, especially for Y&R viewers who aren't familiar with Bold and the Beautiful. Maybe they're a little, maybe not at all, but it's gonna be neat for all of us, I think. I'm really, really excited about this. Oh, on the topic of Theo and Jack's used to be defending of Theo, Ellen says, well, Jack described Theo, in talking to Summer, I think it was, as someone who showed time and time again that he couldn't be trusted, or similar. Really nice rewrite. Look in the mirror, Jack. Yeah, I think it was the conversation with Summer where Jack was basically saying, well, Theo is someone who couldn't be trusted. So wait a minute, so he's saying that today, but 2 weeks ago it was Theo's got a good heart. And I want to give him these companies from Dina's inheritance. Dina would have wanted him to have something. So which is it? Is Theo totally untrustworthy and a snake, Jack? Or is Theo someone with a good heart who you wanted to inherit from your mother? Yeah, it's boy. It's too stark. It's too inconsistent. And Diana says, let's recap Theo. Yes, Theo stole and used Jack's same wording on a project. I forget what it was. What is being left out by Jack, though, is that Theo was set up by Kyle and Summer to do this. Yes, it was wrong of Theo to do it, but it was also dishonest of Kyle and Summer to pretend that the work was really theirs. Jack probably shouldn't have put Kyle and Theo in competition with one another. They were just being sneaky and deceitful as Theo. They were being just as sneaky and deceitful as Theo was. Theo was going to sue the Abbotts for half of the estate, but the reasons ran deeper than just money. Exactly, Diana. Like, what did Theo do that was so bad? The thing that he did that was so bad was right at the end, and even so, it didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened because of reasons. It happened because of emotions and the ways that he was treated. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm not going to beat the Theo drum every week after week, but dang, he was a good character. I'm sad that he got let go, and I'm now sad that he's being besmirched on the other end of him even leaving. Oh, goodness. Well, here's a comment from Heather that actually she left early in the week before it was revealed that Chelsea had a stroke, and I just thought this was so good. Heather says, Chelsea's going to be sick of Adam's shenanigans soon enough, and his ever-present love for Sharon. What about if Chelsea found a shoulder to cry on and it was Jack's? The two actors interviewed together on Instagram and said they would love to finally work together. Connor could use a good stepdad like Jack. Think of the scenes between Jack and Adam, old friends, now sparring over Chelsea. Ooh, Chelsea and Jack. That would have been good. Victoria says, what a great idea. If Jack fell in love with Chelsea, it would create drama for Adam and give Jack his love interest. Maybe Chelsea would see the world more positively for the first time. Currently, she's been afraid that someone would take away what she has. Jack could give her the security to embrace herself as a designer and as a mother. This is such a great untapped idea. And I just am so in love with it also because the idea makes Jack and Adam's deep bond relevant again. That's something that was just meaningful to me when Jack and Adam were first meeting and becoming friends, and Jack was like a father figure to Adam. And then when Adam was recast, it just went away, and that always bothered me a little because it was something that was so unique and just such a cool facet of the character that just never got picked back up. But boy, if Jack hooked up with Chelsea, I mean, they would be, since Adam and Chelsea have Connor, they would have to interact with each other. So, that would give us so much good juice. Here is an abbreviated comment from Jamie, but it's just incredible. Jamie says, this aneurysm storyline with Chelsea is hitting me in the feelers. At the age of 36, my husband suffered a subarachnoid hemorrhage caused by an aneurysm. It happened suddenly and without warning. He had been living with a ticking time bomb in his head for who knows how long. Well, Jamie's husband made a pretty miraculous recovery, but did suffer some memory loss. Jamie says he's 42 now, which I still think is young. We all think of these things happening to older people or unhealthy folks. We often don't put ourselves in the category of it could happen to us. Live fully, my friends. Life is short and the lights could go out in an instant. Jamie says, I'm curious to see how Y&R portrays the recovery story and how true to life they keep it. So far, I have to say I'm impressed, though I must say I love soaps because they're not always true to life and they give us some fantasy to live through vicariously. Oh, Jamie! Gosh, okay, here's the truth for me. I am so afraid to go deep on Chelsea's aneurysm story because I feel like I went deep on Sharon's cancer and it wasn't portrayed with a whole lot of respect in the end. There were moments, but in the end, there's this horrible disease that a lot of people battle with and a lot of people lose their lives to and a lot of people lose their loved ones to. And in the end, I felt like it was just used as a plot tool to bring Sharon and Adam together in a dingy hotel room for a couple of scenes. So I know that I'm personally holding back emotionally on Chelsea's stroke. Like, I feel for her, obviously, but I also feel that Y&R is either going to drag this out until I want to scream, or they are going to give her a quickie recovery. And either way, I don't feel really confident that I'm going to be satisfied with how they handle it and how they resolve it. But I am going to let you guys keep me in check, because if Jamie can watch this storyline and like it and feel inspired and feel like Y&R is doing a good job on it, then I will too. So Jamie, keep checking in. Keep giving us the reality check on this story. Let us know how they're doing with it. Let us just keep us posted, please do, because I find myself just like just yearning for something that is a little more upbeat, a little more funny, and there's just a part of me that is so not looking forward to whatever this storyline is going to bring. Like you said, sometimes I just want that fantasy. This past year's been so hard, and there is a part of me that just wants some fantasy and some fun, and I was loving those weddings. I was just all jazzed up on these weddings, and this week it was like ka-clunk Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea is a character that's been through a lot too in the last year or more. And I also have felt disappointed in general with how Y&R has handled her character. I want her to be more. I want her to be identifiable. I just think that she's a character who has so much more to offer. And I don't think Y&R has done a lot with her. She got sort of set aside to this second place position in Adam's life, and yet Y&R kept showing her going back to him. For what reason, I just can't rationalize. So I now am watching her in the wheelchair and just being very vacant, and it's difficult to watch. It's not what I wanted to see for Chelsea. It's not what I wanted to see for the show, but that's just me and just my opinion. I know a lot of people are going to connect with it, and I want to make sure that I'm sensitive to that too. Tina Cole says, I don't know much about strokes and specifically how it would affect Chelsea, but did they say she can't speak and that her right side is paralyzed? Would she still be able to move her left side and her hand as normal? If so, could she try to write messages on paper, maybe with her left hand, and try to communicate? I'm just curious if she's only paralyzed on one side, if the show would show movement of the other side in her body. This was one of my first questions, T. Nicole. How are they going to handle this? She's paralyzed on the right side. How are they going to show this? So far, it's just been motionless, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they did have her communicating with writing maybe next week. And if that's the case, what is she gonna say? What is Chelsea gonna say when she can finally communicate? Is she going to blame Adam? Is she going to love Adam? That's the part that's gonna keep me riveted. TB84 says, poor Chelsea. I hate seeing her in that state. She's one of my favorite characters, and seeing her like that just breaks my heart. The whole storyline is so sad, although I really liked that Adam was asking Victor for help and being civil with each other, especially from Adam's side. Ellen says, I loved seeing Adam reach out to Victor for help. Victor came through like a champ, but with such grace. And Adam was so grateful. This is good writing. Please let this continue. Our characters are real people, not comic book villains. Victoria says, the exchange between Adam and Victor was touching. Mark Grossman showed Adam's more vulnerable side, and Victor was the strong, reassuring father. Thanks, Y&R. Oh yes, many people chiming in about those scenes between Adam and Victor. This is what we need to be seeing. We need to be seeing Victor as the man who has made a lot of mistakes. But now here's his child who's suffering, and he wants to try to help his son and also to reassure his son. I do really like this dynamic quite a bit. I was pleased with those scenes as well. Gary says, I was glad that Adam wasn't calling Sharon. He said something like, I can't believe I'm calling you, and you won't believe it either, but... Yes, same. I want to see Adam leaning on Victor. I want to see Victor teaching Adam. That's kind of what parenthood is. And Victor didn't have a chance to do that by his own choice when Adam was growing up. And if you don't parent your kids when they're young, you're going to end up parenting them later at some point down the road. You're going to pay for it down the road. So it's good to see Victor stepping up now and helping Adam in the right ways, trying to teach him and trying to boost him. This part of the story could be good. I just feel sad that this has happened to Chelsea to get us there. Leslie says, it really didn't make sense that Adam can't see Chelsea. Even in the ICU, visitors can come in. I think I thought to myself, is this topical? Because there are so many people who have loved ones in the hospital right now and they're not able to see them because of the viral risk. So I thought that was interesting, but more to the plot. I was noting that Adam was saying, no, we're not married, when he was talking to whoever he was talking to. So it was almost, to me, a little bit of foreshadowing that maybe Adam is going to marry Chelsea soon so that he has rights with her and over her medical care. To me, that's what I was honed in on those scenes. Diana says, I feel like Y&R has done a good job at making Chelsea look like a stroke patient and gaining our sympathy. Seeing her in that wheelchair so helpless is sad. I am glad that Adam and Victor have hired the best team of doctors and therapists for Chelsea to help her recover. This is a great example of how being well off financially has great benefits. That being said, I hope Adam asks his hired help around the house, or even himself, to please put on some makeup on Chelsea. She is quite pale, and I'm sure it would lift her spirits when she looks in the mirror. She needs to look alive. Her appearance could help her mental state and give her some hope. She must look in the mirror and not recognize herself, which would be difficult mentally. Also, it would be very endearing to see Adam doing this for Chelsea, just as we saw Victor putting makeup on Nikki in the flashbacks when she was in the hospital pretending to be dying. Like father, like son, helping their loved one as much as possible, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Oh, I love that idea! I don't think Nikki was pretending to be dying, though, in that particular scene. I think she was dying. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I do remember the makeup scene, the very famous makeup scene. Yeah, that was real. She thought she was dying. That was the time she really was dying. That time, though, Diana. But oh my gosh, I love that you honed in on that. That is just, it would be such a beautiful moment. Adam putting the makeup on Chelsea's face the way Victor did for Nikki, helping her feel better, helping her recover, pulling us into their love story, which Y&R has not done a good job of. It's been all Adam and Sharon for quite a while now. We need to love Adam and Chelsea. Maybe this is gonna get us there. I'm feeling this New Year's Eve 2021 wedding. I don't even think it'll be that long. I think Adam and Chelsea are going to be married soon. Well, about different topic, Imani Superplex says Hillary would have gouged her eyes out. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But weren't you seeing the little glimmers of how Hillary used to be when Amanda was flaming to Devon after Imani left her room? I was seeing it. I was getting Hillary vibes from that scene. And I am looking forward to getting Michelle Morgan back there kind of doing that with a new rival. I think that will be entertaining. Daisy says, I wonder if Amanda's mother, Naya Benedict, had been assaulted and decided to give up her twins. But then, unknown to her, the adoption agency actually sold the children, which is why Amanda didn't end up in a happy home. This is so sad. I still hope that Amanda turns out to be Hillary, though. Yes, I have seen this this sentiment. Sharita also says, I think that Amanda and Hillary are the product of a date rape, and that's why they were given up. I think that's very possible. I think that when Naya tells her story, we're all going to go, oh, and it'll make sense. And then we'll have these two new characters on the show, and we'll just explore those dynamics. Superplex says, I like the relationship between Amanda and Lily. It's like Lily has gone back in time and is making amends for her hostility directed toward Hillary. Me too. I like Amanda and Lily. They had a little sit down this week where Amanda told Lily what was going on with her, what was going on with her mother. And it's just nice to have someone to listen sometimes. And with Devon, while he's doing the same thing, there is this supposition of a romance going on and brewing, bubbling beneath the surface, at least with the fans. So it is nice to just see Amanda talking to someone who will listen. Superplex also says, Dr. Nate looks like he can kick Devon's butt. No kidding. This is just another reason why I love Nate. Now I know he has this bod. He has these muscles. Not that Brighton doesn't. Or sorry, Devon. Not that Devon doesn't have muscles. But, I mean, just toe for toe, you would think that probably Nate might have won in a fight. And that just says so much more to me now that Nate never swung back at Devon. He just took that punch. And he really could have fought back. And he probably could have hurt Devon. And he chose not to. So here's the thing. Devon had a moment of healing with Elena this week. Next week, we need to get that moment of healing between Devon and Nate. We'll see. Still waiting to find out when Gloria is going to be back on our screens. Ellen says Judith Chapman is reported to be back at Y&R filming scenes for upcoming episodes. It will probably be a while before we see her on screen, though. It looks like Phyllis will be in the middle of this flash drive / embezzlement story first. Ooh, yay! Gloria's coming back. I can't wait to get her version of this story because somehow I just feel like maybe Kevin doesn't have all the info. and I want to get it from Gloria. I want this part to be juicier. I want more here. There's a secret. There's a mystery. I want it to be bigger and better. Ooh, Daisy says, I hope that Victor was skimming off the top at Newman Enterprises to test Victoria. And if it was Victor, it would be great to see what Kevin and Phyllis do when they find out. Victor will never let them get away with stealing from his company, and if Victoria does not know about the breach, he'll never let her remain CEO. Ooh, I love the idea that it was Victor. That is a good theory, that maybe Victor was skimming in order to test Victoria, and she did not pass the test. Ooh, that would be good. Hey, here's also some follow-up from last week. Colleen says, Allie, Tessa's song played during the wedding. It was beautiful. And Sherrod says, Allie, the song that was playing when Sharon entered in her wedding was Tessa's song. It's called More Than a Vow by Kate Fairbanks. Oh, was that the song that ended last Wednesday's show? Because I heard the song, I commented on it. I was like, that was a great song, because it was that one and the Auld Lang Syne, and I was going on about how beautiful that song was too, but I didn't realize that that was Tessa's song. I guess I don't hear Kate Fairbanks sing enough to recognize her voice, and it wasn't explicitly said that that was the song. So I should have caught that, but I sure didn't. Oh boy, yeah, that was beautiful. So there you go. If you liked that song that played right as Sharon was entering society, it's called More Than a Vow by Kate Fairbanks. Beautiful, beautiful it was. Quick question about Faith. T. Nicole says, does Faith pretend to Jordan that her family is annoying and then use them as the bad guys as a reason as to why she sometimes can't hang out with Jordan? Or does Faith truly feel what she texts to and tells Jordan about her family? I'm thinking it's a bit of both. Faith wants to be treated more like an adult by her family, but knows she can always use them as an excuse to avoid hangouts with Jordan when she's not up to it. Exactly. I'm glad you honed in on that, T. Nicole, because it is true. She used her family, saying it was family stuff, to get out of a second night of partying with Jordan, and we know that that wasn't true. So it just, to me, says that Faith is very lost. She doesn't really know how to say no to Jordan, and she does need someone there to help her learn that skill. The skill of saying no is hard. I still struggle personally to say no. And so I think that that's something that maybe Mariah can teach her. Mariah seems to have no trouble saying no. So maybe it is good that Mariah is the person that's digging up in there and will hopefully help teach Faith how to do that. I have no doubt that Faith feels a little coddled by her family and just annoyed by them in general. I mean, she's a teen. Of course you're sick of your family by that point. But I also think that she's wanting to reach out somewhere, and I think she knows that Jordan's not the best place to reach, but she just doesn't know where else to go. Nobody else is offering. Well, that's not in her family. Hey, this is an interesting comment that I read early in the week, and it's just been rattling around in my head. Ellen says, it's odd that ratings are down for soaps at a time when so many people are stuck at home. I don't know why, but I keep thinking about that this week. First of all, are the ratings really down? I would have expected that soap ratings would be way up. So the ratings are down? I mean, that's sad news. There should be a lot of more people tuning in to daytime. I'm thinking about this idea, and I'm thinking to myself, when are the writers going to learn? When are these writers going to learn? It is not about plot. It is not about twists. It is not about rubies and diamonds every day of the week. If the ratings are down, that's why, because that's what they're always focused on. Just tell good stories. Just tell good stories and the fans will come to watch. It's like our Genoa City citizens are rich, but their stories and their characters are not. But I continue to have hope that 2021 will be much better. We had one more week of 2021 predictions that were open at the website, and I got a few more that I thought I will include before closing the predictions thread forever. I mean, until December. Same diff. Colleen predicts that spurned by Jack and Lauren, Sally teams up with Chelsea and Chloe to compete against Fenmores and Jabot. That's gotta be true, Colleen. I love that one because Chelsea's gonna come out of this. She's gonna be on the other side of it. Chloe's been hounding her to start this new company. And Sally's a designer. It's the perfect triple little business partnership there. Sally, Chloe, Chelsea. That, or Chloe and Chelsea are going to go into business and Sally's going to open up a rival fashion house. Either way, I'd love to get some more fashion on this show. Sharita predicts, I would love it if there was a Jack and Sally romance that led to Jack proposing and Kyle trying to romance Sally on the low to prove that Sally is just a gold digger. Summer could be in on the plan. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, but bad, but good. Bad in a good way. I like it. Henry predicts that Adam will be innocent regarding Delia's death, that the actual hit and run person will finally come forth after all this time because he or she cannot take it anymore. That character will be brought onto the show just for the purpose of confessing, and that character exits the show to be jailed. Billy will then have a lot of the proverbial crow to eat as a result. Albeit he will still continue to mourn the loss of Delia, but the deep hatred he has for Adam will bring some sense of closure. Not that they'll ever become good friends, however. I'm ready to see that. I'm ready to put the Adam and Billy rivalry behind us for 2021, so I'm all for that. Sharita predicts that even though it's unlikely that Lily can get pregnant after her cancer, she might have a miracle baby, a miracle Billy baby, just as Kane comes back to town as a better man. Oh, I tried to not get too far into the weeds of predicting Kane's return this year because I was wrong about it last year. But, oh boy, just as things are heating up with Billy and Lily, a Kane return would be pretty good. Although I have to tell you, looking at Shirtless Nate this week made me think, Kane who? Here's a fun prediction from Colleen, who predicts that unexplainable things will happen at the Chancellor Mansion. Catherine inserts herself into the personality of the house, and this year, the Chance Manch will be its own character. That's so fun! That is so fun. What kind of unexplained things could start happening at the Chance Manch? Ooh! Maybe the Chance Manch could unite two lovers, maybe two offbeat characters, or the mansion could lead to someone uncovering a mystery, or maybe Catherine's portrait could just float off the wall and then fall down and then bonk Jill on her head. How about that? Man, all of your predictions have been so good and so rich, dare I say, this year. Why, oh why, doesn't Y&R mine fan ideas? Or do some test groups? Please, Y&R, steal our ideas, won't you? Okay, everybody, that's it for me for this week. But you are all welcome to go to yrchat.com to leave your comments about the show for the week, to let me know if you're tuning into this 2-week-long crossover. I can't wait. I can't wait to see your comments on that too. And if you have any specific questions or comments about what's going on The Bold and the Beautiful, if you're tuning into that show and you're feeling a little lost on the plot, feel free to ask. I'm sure there are plenty of Bold and the Beautiful regular viewers who will be more than happy to fill you in. And I will be back next Sunday to fill you in on all the rest. I love you guys, and I will see you then. Bye.